I would like to now call the August 12th meeting of the Sustainability Commission to order. Betty, will you please read the roll?
Commissioner Henry Gillis.
Here.
Commissioner Lawton.
Here.
Commissioner Slavin is excused. Commissioner Van Schindel.
Here.
Commissioner Weber.
Here.
Advisor Metzler is also excused.
Now we have public comment. Public comment on matters not on the agenda. Comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Sustainability Commission. Does anyone have public comment? Nope. I have to ask a second time. Does anyone have public comment? And a third time. Okay. Now we move on. So our first item on the agenda is the approval of the July 8th Sustainability Commission meeting minutes. Do I have any questions, or can I get an approval of the minutes, please?
I can approve them even though I wasn't here, correct?
Yes.
I watched and read. Okay.
Good for
I make
you.
a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Oh, any discussion? Is this when we do discussion? No discussion. Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is the consideration and possible action on election of a vice chairperson. Is that you?
Do we have a nomination for the vice chairperson?
Do I have to nominate myself?
If you would like to.
I'm nominating myself.
Yay!
All
I
right.
second that nomination.
Thanks, sir.
All right. So we have a nomination for Commissioner Van Schindel and a second from Randall. Any discussion?
Or any
I'm just
other
going to keep looking at you guys over here. Oh, yeah. Any other nominations? No? Okay. All in favor of approving Commissioner Van Schindel, please say aye.
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 Okay, aye. All those opposed? Okay, cool. Welcome. Can't wait. All right, next on the agenda, we have the CA Lawton Company here to give us a presentation.
Yes. So the CA Lawton Company is here to present on their Green Tier 2 status with the Department of Natural Resources. Compared to Green Tier 1, Tier 2 involves more rigorous participation requirements, emphasizes superior environmental performance. The CA Lawton Company became the first foundry ever to achieve this level of sustainability in 2021. Prior to achieving Tier 2 status, Lawton had been a Tier 1 participant in the Green Tier program since 2013. So with that, we'll turn it over to CA Lawton, and we have a presentation that we'll share with everyone. Cool. So just, I don't know, finger guns me when you're ready to switch a slide, and we'll let her go.
All right. Hello. My name is Jairo Ramirez, and I will go through the slides along here with Alex Lawton. Green Tier, Wisconsin DNR Sustainability Program. The participant, the CA Lawton Company. Green Tier overview. So what is Green Tier? A program by the Wisconsin DNR. Aligns business goals with environmental performance, encourages voluntary collaboration. Our commitment, improve environmental impact, contribute to community and employee well-being. CA Lawton Company and the Green Tier program involvement evolved from beyond compliance. The CA Lawton Company began its journey with the Green Tier program in 2013 when it joined Tier 1. Lawton used its EMS to manage environmental risks and earned ISO 14001 2015 certification, reflecting its commitment to environmental responsibility. Lawton's progression to Tier 2 in 2021, the CA Lawton Company advanced to Tier 2 of the Green Tier program, becoming the first foundry to achieve this status. Tier 2 involves a more rigorous requirements, emphasizing superior environmental performance and allowing participants to negotiate innovative regulatory solutions. Lawton's Tier 2 status enabled it to obtain the exclusive Green Tier Registration Operation Permit, or ROPG, providing added flexibility to modify operations in response to changes in customer demand.
I'll pile onto that one for a sec. So the beyond compliance at the top that he referenced, that was our homegrown program going back a number of years saying, okay, what are all the ways you're supposed to be compliant, right? You got Department of Labor stuff and DNR stuff and EPA stuff, and there's a lot of stuff. And so where throughout that, obviously you want to be compliant in every way that you're supposed to, but like where did it fit the company's mission and values and such that we wanted to go beyond compliance? Certain ways that you're going to treat your people, certain ways that you're going to treat the environment, right? So there's not getting fined, and there's like, how do you actually like make an impact, or how do you actually improve? So we ran Beyond Compliance as a program for a number of years. We got a decent groundswell going. I think people felt good about it. When we found Green Tier, it was how do you avoid just being a try hard, as my kids would say, right? Because you're going to mean to do well, you're going to try to do well, but if you don't have some sort of rigor, some sort of programming, some sort of robustness to it, you're probably going to be inconsistent, right? So that's when we found Green Tier, vetted it, seemed like a great program, because now you have all these things you got to do. Some of them are burdensome, some of them are tedious, but for the most part, in totality, it was really valuable, because now you are setting logical goals, reporting to them regularly, doing things like getting ISO 14001. I mean, these are all a tremendous amount of work, and in some cases, cash expense on top of that. For something that can be hard to spreadsheet, right? So the accountant side of the business might be like, show me the benefit, right? I see the cost, right? And it has to be a little bit more of a value judgment of that. Say, we believe being beyond compliance, in this case specifically to environment, is worth it for a myriad of reasons, right? And so that's how, when we went out and vetted all kinds of ways, and we did a Green Masters program and a couple other things that weren't as big and official, but we hit Green Tier pretty hard. And we were well-meaning and not ready for prime time, which is a saying my dad likes to use, so I'll hat tip him. The department, to its credit, was great in terms of helping you get through it. So you got a lot of coaching. Nope, right? They wouldn't share trade secrets or specific names of others, but they give you a lot of, some people are doing this, some people are doing this, some people are doing this, right? And a lot of liaisoning and coaching. So it was really like banging your head against the wall in those early years to qualify. But once you do, you now are aligning your actual behavior results or whatnot as an organization with your stated goals, right, of being a good environmental steward. And B, you're building credentials. So you feel better about it internally, you're improving your relationship, and you're building credentials or qualification with the state that leads to things like you mentioned on the ROC-G side. You got to be Green Tier, you got to be ISO. ISO's a lot of work. There's a lot of work outside of being ISO and Green Tier. But if you do these things and you do it year after year, right, and you get through your audits and you meet your various objectives for submitting goals and reporting against them, then you get a different relationship. But one big benefit's the ROC-G in our case. So rather than micro permitting every area of our plant, you sort of put a bubble over the plant, and they say don't have more than this amount of VMCs, don't have more than this amount of PMs, whatever it might be. Rather than, so it's an easier relationship. And we didn't do it for that. These were some of the benefits that came. It also would be if you're having a discrepancy with the state over the way something should be regulated. There's usually a somewhat inefficient and ham-handed way that gets dealing with it, right? They're overwhelmed, they're busy, so they give you a notice of violation and throw a fine at you. Then both organizations would turn their brains on, get together, talk it through, work it out. Usually, sometimes the violation goes away or the fine gets reduced or whatnot. It's a rough way to handle it. In this case, if you went from a good actor to a bad one, they'll eventually kick you out of the program and go back to that kind of compliance. But in this case, it's going to be discussion based. It's going to be run through the management system in the program versus the ham-handed way that some kinds would be. So those are a couple of the advantages we got out of it. That I don't think were the reasons going into it, but turned out to be real and I think substantive. And the reason I think you all should care is, like, this is a good program the state offers, and hopefully you can help facilitate more businesses in the area to take a good hard look at it. They might be unaware that it exists, or they might have looked at it and said, hey, it looks like too much work, or what am I going to get for that? And so I wanted to be able to spell some of those out, right? What was our part of this? So.
Can you give a high-level description of what ISO 14001:2015?
Yeah, that's our environmental EMS system. Just keeping track of all our waste and all our materials and chemicals, and making sure that they're stored properly, they're not ending up into our environment. That's pretty much the gist of it.
So ISO is a global governing body, and you'd get, like in our case, we first got certified for quality, right? And then later environmental, and now we're certified for safety. So you go through a robust battery of, you got to procedurize things, you got to document them. They're going to audit you to your compliance with your procedures and auditing, right? They're going to want to demonstrate that you can baseline and show continuous improvement, and you do it in those ways. And there's a standardization then across a lot of organizations if they're willing to do it. So like, say I'm a large customer and I want to buy product from you, and I want to know that you care about quality and have some standards, rather than have to have that whole infrastructure inside my own company to go out and do it. I can be like, okay, you're ISO certified. That puts you on a better footing, right? Now I can come do a light audit and a simple assessment versus a full one. So
Got it.
it's probably international statistical organization.
Standardization, I think.
Yeah, so, and again, we do it across all three of those disciplines, so then you got to keep up a pretty robust management system to do it.
Got it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So continuing on, our environmental initiatives, many environmental initiatives over the years, some examples that are currently in practice by Lawton Company. E-waste recycling, we have an annual employee event. It's like a picnic. Everyone brings in their e-waste. We collect it and then we get it picked up so that it ends up in the proper facility rather than a landfill. Divert significant e-waste from landfills, and then facility upgrades. We've done several upgrades are being made to our sand recirculation system. That's so we don't have any fugitive dust. Retention wall install for the resin silo. So we have a pretty big resin silo that we installed a retention wall around in case there are any spills. We are able to hopefully catch it before it gets into the groundwater or the ground. Foundry site cleanup, recycle obsolete equipment and scrap iron castings, generate cash and improve site organization. Then ductile iron inoculation, update methods to save raw materials and energy, and then improve indoor air quality and employee safety.
So every year, and some of them are multi-year initiatives, but every year you're going to come up with a set of objectives and goals, right? And you're going to vet that back and forth with the department. You're going to settle on a handful, and then you're going to report on how you did, right? We think by mid-year we can have this done. We're going to find beneficial reuse for our styrofoam, and by the end of the year we're going to have figured out how to put better sensors on our furnace so that we can use X% less energy, right? These things are always going. And I said some of them take more than 1 year. Like the program runs in annual increments. Not everything fits perfectly within that. Some things have been done more than once over many years because they were kind of one-off events versus programming. But that's where the continuous improvement part of the program lies, right? Setting objectives that are good for the environment and then achieving them. And if you didn't, why not? And you learn something from it and you share it with the department. They can share it more broadly, and you try something else the next year.
Moving on to program benefits, Alex just mentioned a lot of them a couple slides ago, but marketing, the use of the green tier logo to promote commitment to superior environmental performance, personalized support. So you do get a dedicated DNR staff to provide consistent communication and support. Limited liability protections, eligibility for protections when proactively identifying and correcting mistakes, and then customized regulation. Tier 2 participants can negotiate innovative regulatory solutions, streamlining permits, and allowing operational flexibility. Motivation for joining the Green Tier program, commitments to sustainability, voluntary participation and joining. So you can volunteer to join. It is voluntary. Once you're inside, you obviously have to follow the rules. Align businesses' objectives with environmental performance, reduce risk and improve efficiency, enhance reputation, gain operational flexibility, receive support from Wisconsin DNR, environmental improvements for businesses and community, sustainable practices, reduce environmental footprint, improve working conditions, address environmental concerns proactively, Community impact, there is going to be a better quality of life for the employees and the community members, and then foster a healthier and more sustainable environment. So your Tier 1 and Tier 2 participants, there are 2 levels. Tier 1 is going to require an environmental management system, conduct regular audits, and then submit annual reports. Once you cross over to Tier 2, you'll have the requirements for Tier 1, but you'll also get some benefits. So it offers added benefits for meeting higher standards, including special permits and greater operational flexibility to enhance environmental practices. Some of the requirements and the credibility. So the requirements can be rigorous. Tier 2 participants sign agreements with the Wisconsin DNR, committing to high environmental standards and continuous improvement. These agreements foster innovation and build public trust through the EMS implementation, a structured system to manage impacts, identify risks, and improve efficiency. A third-party verification, so independent assessments, ensure credibility and compliance, regular audits conducted by the DNR-approved auditors to verify progress, and then annual reports promote transparency by detailing goals, performance, and achievements. Together, these elements demonstrate proactive environmental management and a commitment to excellence. Charter agreements. Some of the overview, charters bring organizations together to pursue shared environmental goals through collaboration, innovation, and tailored incentives that support sustainability. Collaboration towards shared goals. These charter agreements do promote joint efforts to tackle environmental challenges like climate resilience, equity, and sustainability. Programs like Green Tier Legacy Communities help local governments share resources, learn from each other, and amplify impact. Some of the quality of...
Real quick,
Yep.
that last point on amplifying impact, that's one of the reasons we were interested in coming to talk about this, right? Is how do you get more bang for the buck than just what we do at our place, right? So if any of our people that get involved in the programming can take something home that's universal, not just like for our industrial operations, or we can get other businesses, right, in our neighborhood, maybe that I sit on the board of, that you guys might be able to impact to think about it and maybe take action in a different way. I think that's where we might come, because there's not that many real original ideas that have to be thought of. How do you find the ideas that are there and get them deployed, right? There's best practices everywhere, and in many cases just better practices. We can get the best later, right? That's the problem with continuous improvement, right? When we're designing perfect, we tend not to move. So how do you just keep moving? But that amplifying, good word, by the way. I think that's the key, and we make a commitment. I don't know how official it is to the program, so we try and do several things per year to help them promote the program.
Our quality of life improvements, you're going to get better working conditions, improved safety protocols, healthier work environments, initiatives promoting employee well-being, environmental protection, adopt sustainable practices, reduce pollution, and conserve resources, minimize environmental footprint, and then proactive environmental management, identifying and address potential risks, implement preventative measures, and then continuously monitor environmental performance. Statewide presence, locations of Green Tier participants throughout Wisconsin. There's going to be a diverse industries and regions. There's about 40 Tier 1 participants, which is 140 facilities, 8 Tier 2 contracts, and then there is an interactive map available on the Wisconsin DNR website. It's going to show you where everyone is on the state, detailed information on locations and environmental endeavors, and then corporate citizenship and stewardship. Empowering organizations, align businesses' objectives with environmental stewardship, engage with employees and community members, and then community impact, improve quality of life, foster a healthier environment, and enhance reputation as sustainable organizations. Some of the challenges of joining the Green Tier program. So those requirements, like I mentioned, they are rigorous. The EMS system, resource intensive, requires dedicated staff and ongoing commitment. Regular audits are time-consuming, may require external expertise. Annual reporting, demanding, especially for smaller organizations. The initial investment, upfront cost, is significant. Investment in sustainable practices, technology, and infrastructure, and then continuous improvement. Your ongoing efforts require continual improvement and adaptation to new standards. Regulatory navigation, a customized regulation can become complex, may require specialized knowledge, and then a transparency and accountability. Public reporting involves transparency and scrutiny, challenging for some organizations. So that could be challenging for some organizations.
Yeah, the initial investment part, this is and again, this isn't the be-all, end-all program. It's just a good one, and it's here in Wisconsin. And we need the assistance and the rigor and stuff like I mentioned. But this is definitely putting your money where your mouth is, right? Versus press releases. You're going to put a fair amount in.
Is there an upfront cost to participate in the program?
No, you're going to probably pay, like, so if you're not ISO certified and you got to be ISO certified to get in, you're going to spend a fair amount of money getting ISO certified, right? With paying a consultant to help you get ready, and then you got to join and get a registrar and then get audited and whatnot. So you're going to accumulate thousands on that. You got a bunch of materials sort through. The state, maybe there's a small fee. I don't think at all, because they're trying to facilitate things happen. I think they do a great job not trying to create cash costs, right? They just, when I think about getting credentials, right, initials after your name or anything else, there's at least two different kinds out there. There's the pretty authentic ones, of which the state's trying to run this way. And then there's a kind where, I buy an annual membership fee and maybe I go to a party and then I can get, some initials after my name or whatnot, right? No right or wrong. This one's pretty genuine, though, in terms of what they put in, which is why it costs.
Aside from the permitting fee, I don't think we pay any additional monies for that.
Yeah. The biggest cost is going to be your internal hours spent, right? Rounding people up and talking about it, right? And if you believe, business is so much about cost benefit, right? Is there a benefit to whatever it costs? If you believe there's a benefit, even if it's hard to spreadsheet, right? You get over that hump pretty good. Like, occasionally you got to help new managers or certain managers get over that same hump. And it can be hard, right? I've got 60 hours of stuff left to do this week. I'm halfway through the week. What are we going to do, right? Hey, we all got to get together for 90 minutes and work on green tier. It's like, you just shoehorn it in and figure it out.
I know with most sustainability initiatives, you do see cost benefits with whatever strategies you're implementing down the road. Are you able to track that?
I would say we do an inconsistent job of tracking it. We do a good job if we set up a project and it's really somewhat cost related, right? Like we're going to lower energy usage or some material of ours, like sand usage, right? And then we'll capture it well in the project. As the project starts, goes through, ends, we do a closeout. Over time, I'd say we lose track of some of the benefits for sure. It could go back and get recreated, friends of the auditor or whatnot, but it's one of those, is the juice worth the squeeze? We've been inconsistent in tracking the dollar value, if you will. We do a better job tracking the accomplishments on the environmental side.
Gotcha.
If you're ISO certified in any way, you have to document your continuous improvement objectives anyway, so that crosses over. And I would say one of the biggest benefits from a compliance standpoint is, I know I'll call Hyro and say, hey, can you call your guy at the DNR and ask him? And in most businesses, reaching out to a regulatory agency isn't, seen as favorable because you might create a question in their minds. And that gets rid of that. I don't have to call a consultant. We can call directly to the agency that would govern this. So.
It's a big deal. The working relationship is a big deal, and something I was intrigued by, but not something I expected them to honor. Right when they were trying to roll this out, like, oh, this thing's going to be great, and we're going to have a different thing. I'm like, yeah, we are. But to their credit, to the Madison's credit, and the agency's credit, they've stayed true to it for a fairly long period of time, right? Because at some point, this is somebody's new shiny object, and so it gets attention. They tend to die on the vine over time, and to their credit, they've kept up how it works, their excitement about those of us that'll go through it and do it. So I give them a lot of credit. They should, it's easy to pick on your government and its agencies, and in this and many other cases, they should get some credit when they're trying to do it right.
I can speak to some of the helpfulness that is involved in this program. Just having that contact. I've asked about our air permit and getting adjustments, and I've gotten answers very quickly and not having to go through all these different channels just to get an answer. We were able to get an answer back on our air permitting, and they gave us some news that we could change it. We just got to go through the process, and helped out lay out that process for us as well. Another thing I did not include in here that kind of relates to tracking, they do have a metrics. Now it started about 2-3 years ago. So they have a metric sheet that you can list any of the energy you're using, gas, fuel, water, any of that, and track it over the years. And then you can work on bringing that number down, then you'll see the results as the years go by. So they just added that about 2 years ago, and I'm still kind of adding in some of those empty spaces that need data. But they do a good job with both helping and tracking.
They do. It's a interesting program in that you get privilege in way, like in the service level you get back, right? Because you're putting things in so they get back. And you get privilege in if you've credentialed yourself as a good actor in terms of the type of room you can have. What you don't get, though, is any, get out of trouble free cards, right? It's not like, hey, because I got all this good stuff, just look the other way on my VLCs, please, because this is a tough process for that. That would be convenient for me. So you don't get any, if it's would be the wrong word, you don't get liberties that you shouldn't get, right? You earn your way into an easier relationship, a more efficient relationship, a more collaborative and supportive relationship. You don't get to do bad things over here because you're doing good things over here, which probably goes without saying, but I just thought I'd at least make the point.
And then the relationship with the DNR is amazing, at least my experience. I'm very happy about this program. I think it's served me a lot, and I've heard of colleagues in other states that wish this program was a thing in their state. So.
Yeah, HIRO here takes a lot of the burden on for the organization in terms of keeping our program fresh and get ready. He has teams that work on different things. You work for community. They have the challenge because we have some locations outside of this area. We haven't found anything near as good as green tier. So our goal would be, and we've started some of this already because we've been rolling out the 14,001 ISO compliances to the other sites. Our goal is to run green tier as if we were in Wisconsin, even though we're not. And eventually we'll figure out how to parlay that into something. But so if we can mimic what we do here in Michigan and in Ohio and places like that, right, then we know we're having the same type of impact. And maybe some of their local leaders or someone else will capture it. But we'd really like to see the program promoted. We'll try and do our part, but something like a commission, or if there's any other bodies you guys think we should talk to, more companies should do this.
I was going to ask a follow-up question if you'd be open to like a roundtable type discussion, or if we had an educational session, or even just if other companies have reached out to you knowing that you're on the program.
They have, and I think we've promoted and helped cajole a couple to do it over the years. I've gotten several to look at it. Like I said, a few to do it. We're going to be rebooting it's not a board, it's probably a council that you have as part of this program of interested parties, right? So we've had like administration folks from Norbert's, we had the county exec for a couple of years and others, and we're about to reboot that to get outsiders more ingrained in our program again. Because you get, the forest and the trees get mixed up internally, so we thought it was time to rejuvenate that. I think we've been pencil working that to a bit. But to your point on, would we join a roundtable or something else? For sure. Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Awesome. I think there's a lot of learning to do.
Yeah,
All right. I will finish up our last slide, conclusion. Marketing. So again, that use of the green tier logo to showcase environmental commitment. Personalized support, dedicated DNR staff provide consistent communication and assistance, limited liability protections, eligibility for protections when proactively identifying and correcting mistakes, and then customized regulation. Tier 2 participants can negotiate innovative regulatory solutions for streamlined permits and operational flexibility. Credibility, independent third-party verification, regular audits, and transparent annual reporting ensure trust and accountability. Community engagement, active involvement with the employees and community members to improve quality of life and address environmental concerns. And then that collaborative opportunities, the charter agreements and partnerships foster shared sustainability goals and enhance community benefits.
If you had us to a round table, we'd probably go back and pull out some of those case studies, right? Because we were on a huge, and it wasn't our tagline, but we stole it and used it, borrowed it, redeployed it. The whole, reuse, recycle, right, reduce, like we were on that kick for a long time. So we got a lot of good examples of that. And there's no way we would have gotten nearly as many of them organized or done if we weren't in this program. So. We're a rounding error in the world, right? Like everything else is. So this is one of those why I think it's hard to get initiatives going is nobody feels like theirs makes a big difference, but if everybody makes a little difference, it's a big deal.
I'm sorry that last slide was supposed to be our intro. Sorry about that. I was supposed to delete that. I think we're done with our presentation.
Sounds good. We might have went right back to the beginning. I don't know.
Let me just add something to this. Due to the nature of their business, it's kind of like a paper company in terms of having a lot of materials and waste coming in and coming out. They do the same thing, and it's probably a higher level of interaction with the DNR regulators in the past. I think you've taken that from a semi-adversarial position to a close working relationship with them, and it's so much more productive to set goals together and get places than fighting over nothing. It's quite a unique program.
So to build on that, when we deal with regulators in other states, oftentimes there's a presumption of guilt, right? They'll come onto your site and audit you, assuming they might find something. Here we have a presumption of innocence until there's something that might be identified, and then it's a coaching moment to fix that. And hopefully, it's not anything that we can't fix quickly. So that relationship is so beneficial to a company to not go into these relationships stressed, right? I just want to tell you what's going on here, and maybe you can help me improve it, instead of hoping that they don't, look in the wrong door. So,
I'm super curious. Did you set out to hit tier 2, or did that just happen through ingraining it in your business and how you do things?
No, we set out to do tier 1, and tier 2 is a maybe dream someday as it came out in several years. And then Iro's predecessor, who helped put this together with me and lead it for a number of years, she missed a meeting, and we decided to go for tier 2. Always go to your meetings. That's how that works. To play defense.
Yep.
In my mind, it was the right thing to do. It was going to be a pain. I thought it was time to. We'd been in it for a number of years, right? Let's get it unstale. Let's keep it moving. And I knew we'd be the first foundry, which I thought was cool. There's a lot of foundries in the state, hardly any. And we were neck and neck, and I think we got it. I think we were the first company, which was probably a silly competitive or ego-driven thing, but I was just like, hey, this thing's available, right? And there's a lot better managed companies, there's a lot better resource companies or whatnot. So for us, those of us that really cared about this, we thought we could take a little pride in moving up to 2 and being, the first to do it. So, so no, it wasn't there at the outset, but it kind of over a couple of years, have talked ourselves into it.
Do we have their contact info?
I have your email now, so.
Okay. Okay, because I probably have a million more questions, but they're not.
I have a couple questions.
Please.
It sounds like some of you might be familiar with what ISO is, but this is new to me. So I think you mentioned there are 3 different disciplines that you're tracking. What are those?
There's 3 that we track. I think there's more ISOs and kind of nuanced ones out there in the world, right? So we do the 9001, which is a quality standard, right? So can we demonstrate that we can do the right things in the right way consistently over time so that the phone work? You know, if I was making phones, that the phone would work each time. So that's more about your product quality. Then there's the environmental standard, which is 14001. And that's are you going through the right processes to be able to set the right targets, follow them, and then baseline them, and then improve them. So that's not just about being compliant with your laws, but improving your, back to the reduce, reuse, recycle. And then the other one is safety, right? So there's a 45,001. And again, it's like, what are your practices, right? Everything from little things like, does all your rolling stock have the proper safety belts and equipment? Do the people use it religiously and so on, to protective equipment, to
Are they
your
trained?
fire and tornado drills, to at the work site, right? How do we set this is heavy manufacturing. How do we do it in a way where people aren't putting their hands at risk, or whatever it might be, right? It's specific to yours. So we spent a bunch of years getting one by one certified in each of those.
So it sounds like one of the benefits for you guys is maybe you have like a permitting umbrella, like it's through the liaison process.
There's a type of permit, the registration operating permit, right? There's all different kinds of permits when you go in to get your business permitted to do something. I think Wisconsin modeled theirs off of something Iowa had innovated. And it was, so then if it's right for that business, and or you can, like I said, credential yourself as a worthy thing, it's a simpler way to do it, right? Rather than like, when it's done more granular, like let's say we get a limit of something, 10 units of whatever it is. Let's say, and then we have things spread around, and the whole facility might only be at 5, but they say, well, you can use 1 unit in that department, and 1 unit in that department, and 1 unit in this department, and for whatever reason, this department has 2 and this department has 0, right? For the intent of the limit, right, a permissible limit of whatever they're permitting, it should be fine, but the way the permit got structured, you'd run into these headaches all the time, right? And so business guys would complain about red tape, like, we're dealing with red tape, right? And the regulators are like, we're just trying to do our job and get everything right? So it was a more efficient way to do it. So it's not the right permit for all businesses. It's a functional one for many, and it was relatively new. We're probably 4+ years into it, into utilizing it now, and I don't want to say we were a beta test, because I don't think the agency would agree with that, but I think we were an early adopter, an early trial, like, hey, is this going to be good?
So with that, could you just kind of like guess on maybe some other industries that would be good to target if we were kind of going to put an initiative to foster this?
Jeez.
It's okay if you can't answer it. I know I have no idea.
I think yes. So, I affectionately call folks like us shape makers, right? We use a manufacturing process to make a shape. We do it in castings. You might do it with fabrications. You might do it with forgings. You might do it with machining. I think in most shape maker businesses, it would be relevant, because they're all doing, they're bringing in various materials through one door. It's going through all kinds of stuff, and then it's going out the other door. I think it would fit. And what I think of as continuous process businesses, like paper making, utilities, steel mills, where rather than I'm a manufacturer and I'm assembling a tractor, or I'm making a HVAC system, right? I have something that's continuous in process. I think it would fit those kind of businesses really well. I haven't thought a lot about retail or other applications. I think if we had a roundtable and we're grinding on that, I think I would have some thoughts on it.
And I'll second the liaison process. I'm familiar with it in another capacity, and it functions the same way. It's a good relationship.
Yeah.
You have like a system for resolving disputes, so.
Yes, and somebody to get you to where you need to go inside the agency, right? Like, oh, you need to talk to Jack, who heads the XYZ, sub-department and whatnot, because it can be a maze, trying to figure that stuff out. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of public-private collaboration. I think it's underappreciated.
You got another question? All right. Any more questions? No? Well, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for the interest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randall, for setting this up.
Yes, thank you, Randall.
I do have some
Joining
brochures.
us.
Ooh, brochure.
From Green Tier, if you guys would like one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Spread them around. Use guilt for, sales promote, whatever it needs. Inertia is the toughest thing, right? Once people get these programs going, they're not that bad. It's hard to stop.
Yep.
Right? Oh, we'll do that
Thank
next
you.
quarter. We'll do that next year.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the two gentlemen in the back, very patient with us today.
You guys were fun to watch, though. You could like watch you argue, and it was cute.
We don't get it all.
I get it from him.
Yeah. This is the most people we've had in quite some time.
So we'll go through the rest of our agenda. We got to pull the pin at 7:15. Feel free to stay if you want, or you can leave whenever. It's up to you.
I'm going to go back to work.
Yeah, won't hurt our feelings either way. So
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All of you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, we have consideration and possible action on clean energy work plan.
yes, I'm going to throw this one to Commissioner Weber. She created the clean energy baseline goals and draft budget request that I shared with everybody with today's memo. And if you want to speak off that, let her rip.
Yeah, I guess I think I drafted that about a year ago, and it was based on analyzing other energy work plans from Eau Claire. I think there was like 4 different cities just in Wisconsin, and maybe actually in Colorado and stuff as well. It's hard to remember. But from that, and then as well as some research on the state energy regulations, like what can be put in place for building codes regarding energy. I don't know if our current work plan is exactly what we need for us. I think we modeled it a lot after Green Bay, and when you look at what came out of theirs, it's informative, but is it action producing? I'm not sure. And so I do think with Southbridge, there's opportunity to kind of revamp to more of a build out analysis. So that's my initial thoughts, just overarching.
Who's Southbridge?
So just the bridge.
That big thing they're
the
building.
Southbridge. I thought it
Yeah.
was like a company or something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this might be
Yeah.
like a little bit of a pipe dream, but from what I understand, the county is the main driver of that plan.
Yep.
Is there any way to possibly request that they provide some kind of assistance with getting that build-out analysis? I mean, I think there's some indirect effects from it.
For the Southbridge you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We could ask, the county right now is facing extreme challenges with their own staffing. So how far our request would get would be up in the air. I don't think it would, especially on the engineering side of things and our coordination with their department. It's been quite an overturn here in the last year or so. So yeah, I have concerns on that end of things. They're consulting out for a lot of their work. And as far as the Southbridge corridors goes, the design portions of the work have all been awarded. A lot of it, we have 2 or 3 sections that are currently under construction already. So a lot of that analysis, you'd have to dig back to see from the start what the benefits are or what steps they've taken just in general. And I don't know if they've tracked or have that info. We're involved in our portions here in the city, but there are other portions that Ledgeview and Lawrence control on their ends that we have no real say in because it's not our sections, doesn't benefit us as much. But yeah, we can try. Yeah, who
You're
knows?
just thinking that's an opportunity to like,
Kind of get a little bit of funding or assistance. I think there could be implications for like what kind of services are going to be necessary to provide.
The city is funding a great deal of Southbridge. It's not the county leading that charge. Each municipality that the GV corridor goes through, they're contributing funds to have the highway built. So it's we'd be almost funding ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm super disconnected and struggling to understand how the bridge and the clean energy work plan play together.
Thank you for asking that
Okay,
question.
so
And I don't wanna, like, seem like I'm-
my thought process is there's indirect effects to just urban sprawl. I
Yep.
think nobody wants to just say it out loud, and I think it's a real contributing factor. So my thought is right now is the time to try to understand what kind of services need to be provided, what kind of energy consumption might be part of it, because it is kind of for creating that baseline. But I don't know.
As part of building the bridge?
No,
Or
I think it's the indirect effects.
Okay.
So that might be better geared keeping it internally without getting the county involved. Our planning code, for example, dictates how development's going to occur once that bridge is in place and that eventual expansion of both residence and commercial industrial areas will go. So we could probably start with our own planning department as a good start.
So have they kind of thought about those things and have some kind of idea?
We talk about it internally, what traction we have on that level. I can't really commit to. I don't think there's a whole lot. Our zoning code just got revamped in the last 3 years, I want to say. So it is really easy to be manipulated, and if you have new ideas, to bring them forth for them to discuss and add. So we have those opportunities.
Are you thinking first from like a measurement standpoint? Or from like a trying to influence what they're doing and like future code? I'm trying to like
think it's-
understand scope
Yeah.
for this.
I guess I am stretching the initial, I guess, mandate that we have is to come up with an energy baseline. And I think it's because I see De Pere being unique from Green Bay that we are on the cusp of expanding. So maybe it's worth looking at it from that perspective and not just from energy. So, like when we went through these initiatives for the commission in general, one of those things is to provide the city with sustainability ideas. And now, before things happen, before codes need to be changed or zoning, is maybe to try to look at where those recommendations could be.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the expertise, so I'm hoping like maybe we could get this
Yeah.
energy plan to help us out with that and identify where there might be some opportunities for sustainability.
So in my mind, an easy partner for this is our own green tier membership. Right now, we're not a very active participant. Our staff is meeting with the city manager here in October now to discuss what level the city should participate in the green tier. And like they discussed, there's this whole metric part of it that we have to go through, dig up our energy use, both as a city and as the private uses throughout the city, and try to quantify those numbers and mark your continued improvement. So if that's the route we go, I think that's an easy jump off point then to bring in this energy plan.
Because would there be a measurement of what the city's baseline is for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to provide that. We have to, our electricity use, gas use,
Yeah.
what solar's being generated out there, and
My house.
right.
So
Because I feel like as a starting point, like measuring is first and foremost going to be important.
And then a build out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like to have a plan on like what that build out could be, I think. But I also am not an expert in this,
No.
but it feels like bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
Right.
Is like
So-
the right way to move about it.
I feel like we wait until at least October then, a little bit.
From staff's perspective, we
I mean?
can't do anything until October, until I'm given a direction from the city manager. We can express that the commission is interested in participating and moving forward with Green Tier. From Green Bay's stories, it took them hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands of staff hours to get that baseline set. So yeah, baby steps is the way to go, but it's a big stairway we're talking to
Why
get.
is it so hard to?
It's just getting all the info from all the different parties.
Yeah.
Once you have that info and you get your contacts set up, I think it's gonna be a lot easier to maintain. But that first initial uptaking, and us being a smaller community with limited staff, it's gonna be quite a bit on staff.
Okay.
So, one thing I heard today even is that DNR might be in the last 2 years taking metrics for energy use. That was one thing that piqued my interest because of this. You know, like maybe this would be easier than what Green Bay did because maybe somebody is tracking some of this.
So 2 years ago, Green Tier switched to metrics. It used to be all subjective. Are you making improvements? It didn't have any numbers behind it. Where now they're requiring us to provide numbers on everything to become Green Tier certified.
We're in a loop. We have to provide them the numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that's why we stopped participating actively, is because we don't have everything to fill out all the metrics and do what they want.
WPS has metrics on all their customers, but can we get that? Like, would
We
have to-
can. We just got to get the channels in place for them to release the info to us. I have a contact with WPS. It's more so on the construction side of things. So yeah, we need them to gather all that data for the city, and then dump it on us essentially, and for us to sift through it.
Okay. Okay. You have a contact for that?
I have a contact. Is it the right contact? I don't know.
It's a start.
Right.
I
It'd be
do.
a start.
I do potentially. I just don't know if it's like a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's fine. And I used to work for WPS, and my family used to work for WPS, so I got channels too.
So it's okay to maybe.
To people
Right, but I gotta wait till I get direction from.
to October.
Right.
Okay.
So sorry, what's the October meeting?
Does the city want to actively participate in Green Tier or not? The benefits on our side of things, it's a little different than it is on the private side. Ideally, if they would expedite our permit reviews and let us build a little quicker when it comes to construction, that'd be ideal. But the only real detriment right now to us not participating in Green Tier to the level other communities are is we just don't get preferential bonus points on our like pond permits. So it's
Who's involved in that decision on whether or not?
the people in the meeting in October will be me, the director of public works, and our city manager.
Andy.
And Betty. Sorry, Betty.
You have to take notes.
From a staff point of view, the big hitters will be public works most likely. Maybe planning will get involved.
Okay.
Okay. So in November we revisit this.
Can do.
Is that? I mean, I'm sorry. That's more of a question, not like I'm telling you to do that. But
I'm just wondering if there's any prep work we can do
Yes.
beforehand to say, hey, here's why the commission thinks, and I haven't done a ton of research yet, but like assuming we think that there's a benefit in it, here's why we think, here's just, I don't know. I'm sure you guys know more than we do, but
Staff thinks this is a good thing. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
The detriment really isn't there to dissuade us from not participating at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah,
would
we're
you need
advocates for
additional
it.
staff to support? Is that something like the
It's,
decision?
yeah,
making?
just
Okay.
I gotta almost clone myself to get things done.
So
You just
could-
did that. So way to go.
So wait 18 years
Yeah.
and then we'll
then
get
it'll
this
be
done.
fine. We'll solve all the problems.
But I can circle back in November with more.
So leading up to that, maybe an action item for us is if we, like, I have someone I could ask. But I know we don't really have a subgroup probably right now because I'm the subgroup.
Right.
So,
So that means you do it.
You can dump everything on me and
but I personally want to share what I'm doing with everyone, but I can't copy everyone in, correct?
you can have me copy everyone in.
Yeah. You send it to him. He sends it to everybody.
Okay. So I guess that's my action item. Just see, because maybe it is something really easy that WPAS is like, well, we've got at least like a good amount of data to come up with some baseline to give green tier. And then if we're in green tier, does that help us with maybe this work plan and kind of see where the dominoes start falling?
Right. And that'll go with anything. If you ever have an idea, just feel free to bounce it off us. If it's something we feel needs to be jumped on right away, we'll share with the group. And if it's something like this that I'll throw on an agenda, then we'll do that and share it that way.
And you've tapped into Green Bay, whoever your contacts are at Green Bay,
Yeah.
to see what their struggles were.
Melissa, right?
Content
Right. She's the sustainability coordinator.
and her hundreds of hours she put into.
Right. They
Gotcha. Okay.
pretty much gave us a presentation on it, on what all they had to do. And they gave us their consultant back in the day. I can't remember who it is. But yeah, in the report, they actually define it really well. Everything they had to get through to get to that point to be green tier, or cause their energy plan and green tier feel very similar, and they're one of the golden children, I think, of the green tier program with the state. They're always very active on those calls.
Okay.
So we know what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have to do anything then?
No, this was just a discussion.
Okay, well, this thing
Oh, it's
says,
consideration and possible
Yeah,
action. So
that's-
there's only action if you guys want action.
and the action is,
Try to
Commissioner
get
Weber is gonna
energy
keep working.
Data.
Yes.
Okay.
And staff will touch base back in November.
November.
And I would just like everyone to keep in their mind, if they maybe think that going the route of like establishing this baseline to have that more of that build out analysis might be the direction that works for us. Because
Okay.
if you look at Green Bay's, it's one of the key things is like we can't really change energy codes, so let's just try to talk to legislators, and that's going nowhere.
Okay, let's move on. Next item on the agenda is update on composting reimbursement program Q2.
Yes. So we just went through the second round of reimbursement for the compost reimbursement program.
I got my check.
Excellent. Monday?
I think so. I deposited it immediately.
Okay. That's just good to know. We mailed them last week.
Yes,
So,
Monday feels right.
in general terms, the total subscribers have continued to fall from first quarter. Right now, we're down to 27 active participants that got us a W-9. They got us their invoices for reimbursement, and then we've finally reimbursed them. So at the time of writing this document, we've spent $2,445 on reimbursing subscribers that participate with Greener Bay Compost. In general, this is just people that are active with us. We don't know if there's other people that are active out there like John Quigley that just don't feel the time is worth it to submit to us.
That's also me, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Feel free. You can always catch up and we'll reimburse you through Q1. We have the budget there. Right now, we're not in any threat of running out of money. So going back to February and early this year, I've kind of tracked how people have gone through the program, why they've left, because the W-9 was a big concern on staff's part, if that was what was deterring people. Only 4 people have submitted invoices and not submitted a W-9 for reimbursement, so I've tracked them that way. We also lost 3 people that same quarter for unknown reasons. They just stopped submitting. In general, it's between the W-9 and confirmed cancellations as to why our total participation is declining. We gained 2 residents back early in the year. Moving forward, I anticipate losing a few more going into third quarter. But we'll continue to run the program. We'll continue to advertise and see what we can do with this.
Thank you for the update.
Getting response back when people are like just not, people telling you why they're leaving?
Yep,
Or-
I'll ask if they confirm their cancellation, I'll ask if they'd want to provide a reason why. And I've gone over those reasons in past meetings, but it's nothing new or out of the norm.
Okay.
Only we have the dissenters on the W-9 front of things, and we knew that was going to be coming.
Yeah, the 8 in April from the W-9 is expected. a little
Right, and one of them I actually might be convincing here shortly to submit. So I forget if I've switched one since I've wrote this or not, but we're still seeing progress. We're still seeing movement, and I'll continue to update.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No. All right, next item on the agenda is consideration and possible action on the 2026 budget request.
Yes. So 2026 budget, we're going through the budgeting process right now with the city. What we're requesting kind of mirrors what we did again in 2025. In 2025, we had 12,000 for consulting services, and that was for the compost reimbursement program. And then $1,500 of the $3,000 office supply budget was for air monitors with the clean air initiative. Thank you. So moving forward in 2026, we're recommending, again, mirroring this budget, but we're going to have a couple changes. The $12,000 for consulting services will still include the compost reimbursement program in that budget. But we also want to open that budget up to like quarterly or monthly presentations about sustainable initiatives, how to compost, how to do bee hotels, native seed harvesting, urban orchard harvest day. If we can further educate folks on our planned natural landscaping ordinance, those would all be sustainable things that we can buy supplies for, rent a space, and I don't know if we do beer and, what'd you call it? Brews and
science.
Brews and bees.
Ooh.
With pints and pollinators.
Pints and pollinators.
Plants.
Yes. And then the $1,500 for air monitors would just become unallocated office supplies, so it'd be just a $3,000 pot of money that we'd use for farmers market until the air monitor, the clean air initiative gains traction again, and we have clear guidance on where to go with that. So with that, staff would be recommending just to approve the budget as written in the memo.
Do I have a motion? What? You have a question? Go.
Do we have flexibility to move things around in this? So say we end up wanting to use $14,000 and it fits under that consulting, it can flex as long as the money is there within the overall budget and there's approval?
Community sustainable initiatives is kind of vague, so
Okay.
I've been kind of relying on that as my slush fund almost to
Okay.
help fund things. So that, like the pollinator gardens at the community parks, it would have been mostly that budget. So it's just really open to any sustainable initiative. So us giving a presentation, it would both be a consultant and a sustainable initiative so I could justify spending the money out of either pot.
Okay.
I think we talked about this before, but it's use it or lose it, right? It's no rollover.
We do have some ability for rollover. Looking forward into next year, we did roll over this past year, and we have a huge excess of budget money currently. So going into next year, we'd probably recommend not rolling over just because we
Didn't use it.
we didn't use it, and I don't have a really solid plan on what we plan to use it for. So what we have budgeted going into next year should be plenty to get us through.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the budget request as Chase presented it?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget request.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, second. All in favor of this?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Moving on, consideration and possible action on Sustainability Commission initiatives and draft work plan.
Betty, do I have the ability to flip agenda items around?
Oh.
Skip to item 8?
Sure.
I'm going to recommend we skip to item 8 and then we'll do item 7 last because we only have a half hour left. So and that one might take the rest of our time.
Okay. So just kidding. Consideration and possible action on Enviroscape watershed model.
So we provided a model with today's memo for Enviroscape. It's a watershed model that we show how pollutants, they fall on our roadways, off our cars, they can be in our communities. And the purpose of the model is, I think I've described it in the past, is you can use sprinkles as pollutants, and then you spray down on the model with water spray gun, and then the pollutants will all wash to the rivers and waterways. At the last farmers market, we had coordinated with Noosk to use their Enviroscape model, and when the time came, they pulled it out, and it was in need of a lot of repairs, and they couldn't have us with that presentation tool. So we have the budget money currently in our budget, and we'd recommend purchasing this model, and then there's an optional carrying case if this commission feels the need. And then we have that tool ourselves to carry forth for future farmers markets to present on.
For us to do that.
Yes.
Do you guys know how to do one of those? I know how to do one of those.
Do you want to speak on it? Go ahead.
I mean, you literally just put out the little thing. It's very easy. You just put out all of the different, like, one of them's poop, one of them's grass, one of them's leaves, right? You put those out into the environment, and then you spray it, and it's cool. But you have to like know how to talk about why that's a pollutant, why it's washing in, why it's a problem. Like it's a lot of practice to get a good spiel with it. I'm just saying.
I used to have one in the city of Kenosha when I worked there, and it was
Would you guys use it?
engaging.
It is engaging.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But would you guys use it?
We are thinking about that
Okay,
yet on how
okay.
we would. So
That's the question in my head is like, does it support initiatives that we have? Do we know how to use it? Will we use it the right way that we're getting something out of it?
So our parks department has like the summer carnival, and that has a lot of kids there. So this is perfect for
Yeah.
that sort of
Yes,
thing, getting
yep.
kids involved. In Kenosha, we used it. We had like a kids fair where they'd go and talk to different employers, not for jobs. It was just figure out what we did, sort of thing. And we'd always bust this out because it was really engaging, and we'd always have a big group watching it.
Yes, I agree with that. I've done it in schools and the kids love it.
So currently, our participation in these programs is fairly limited. So on paper, no, I have nothing really set up outside of this commission and the farmers market, but we'd have to explore expanding and reaching out to those groups.
Well, I guess we're gonna maybe try to focus on how things support the initiatives. It would probably help stormwater.
A lot, yeah.
It would help the wetland and paved surfaces inventory, which was new to me. And so that was one thing I was like, what are we doing with this? But I'm thinking that would help with that. So there's two there.
It's a really good educational tool. I'm not trying to say it's not.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, are we, because we're the ones that do the farmers market, going to be able to do this?
Well, I would hope
That's
it'd be
not me.
beyond a farmer's market.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
That's what you're saying.
That's our fear too.
Yeah.
We have the money. The other tool we tried to rent or borrow was broken, so we thought.
I don't see a harm in it. I think if we have the money, if we think we're going to use it, I'm just not an expert in how to use it. So either
I'll
can we
teach you.
find someone to come train a couple people so there's more than just, you know what I
If we
mean?
buy it, we will do it at a commission meeting.
Oh,
I would
yes,
love that.
fun. Okay. All right.
And then it's recorded so we can rewatch it and
Practice. Okay, so can I get a motion? for-
sorry, is this coming out of this year's budget?
Yes,
Is there carryover from last year's budget to this year's budget?
a little bit, yes.
Okay.
So I guess, yeah,
In
I
this
don't have a
amount?
formal recommendation. It'd be up to the commission to recommend purchasing the model or the carrying case, and the carrying case if it went to that point.
The carryover from last year to this year, is it in this amount for this and the carrying case?
We had to have plenty from what I remember.
Okay.
We have a lot of money that we don't use.
Okay.
Because the pollinator gardens, that all fell apart, so.
Then I make a motion to buy it and let's do something with it.
Yeah, okay. Do we have a second on this motion?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Oh, go ahead. Discussion, thank you.
Carmen, is that with or without the carrying case?
With.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Did you second that?
I did.
Randall still seconds it. All right, all in favor of us purchasing the model and the case, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. We're getting an Enviroscape. Okay,
When
so
we present on this, we are going to present like your children. Just,
Yeah, that's-
It'll be like a Elmo sort of level presentation. So be prepared.
I can bring my kids in if we
Yeah.
need feedback.
Sure.
Okay. Now let's jump back to consideration and possible action on Sustainability Commission initiatives and draft work plan.
Okay, so in this packet, we have the group's assessment of all the initiatives and how we're kind of ranking things. And then Carmen took the time to do a work plan based on all our evaluations for these initiatives. So to kick it off, I'm going to throw it to you, Carmen.
Yeah. I'm just going to start by saying the evaluation of the initiatives, I think, was a lift. And it was a good exercise for me to make sure that I understood or didn't understand what the initiatives are. So I don't think that's something that I'm recommending would be done on a regular basis necessarily. It's let's do this to evaluate where we are and then create a work plan off of that. And then anything new that comes in, let's make sure we're at least running it through some sort of like screening criteria to make sure that we are all on the same page on what it is.
So biannually or annually, or what's your gut feeling on how often we should revisit this?
I feel like annually to create the work plan.
Okay.
I would
For,
say
like,
that
the year.
whenever we're discussing, maybe that we should be recording, actions and recommendations just in real time as the initiatives progress. Like, it's kind of like that's our.
I agree with that. I just don't know if the table criteria is the right place for it, only because like it's everybody's own evaluation of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the right way to do it. The intent is not to make a bunch of work. It's to make sure we're all streamlined and like on the same
Right.
path. I think I agree. That should all be recorded and then like aligned on. And again, I'm not trying to create more work. I'm trying to create a let's do this as the next step so that we can measure what we're doing going forward.
I'm just thinking, I don't have
Yeah.
thoughts.
So my thought today is like, hey, I put together this draft work plan based off of what I know about the initiatives that we have going on and the evaluations that were already done. And this is just my version of the work plan.
Okay.
So I would just love people's feedback if there's any huge gaps, if there are other recommendations for like what to do going forward. I had thrown like a lead commissioner on each initiative just to have somebody kind of own it, or if there's like an expert in it. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but just kind of my perspective on maybe how we can get some traction forward on some of these. And I didn't do it for pollinators, Plan Natural Landscape, or Clean Energy because I just didn't have a lot of background on it.
I do those.
And I personally was confused. I thought pollinators and Plan Natural Landscape were the same thing, and they weren't. That was on me.
They overlap
They're
quite a bit.
overlapped, but not the same initiative necessarily.
Right. First thought, this evaluation table, I think we can get it done in this sort of setting as a round table almost. I could create a draft, we can have it up on the screens, and we can just talk through point by point. We can have counterpoints or different opinions listed on this as we talk, and I think that would ease some of that lifting. We just have to dedicate that 30 minutes, maybe that meeting, just to get through one initiative. So it would start almost as month A, hey, we have this initiative idea. Month B, we get it on the agenda. We go through the hierarchy and the evaluation to see how it fits in line with everything, and then move on from there.
I think that sounds good.
Right.
Thank you for putting this all together. It's a lot of work.
A lot.
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's okay. You did a good job.
Like I said, my goal is like for Adopt a Drain, for example. We know we have something going. We know we want more adoption. Like, how do we actually do that? So we can have some sort of plan that everybody's like, okay, this is what we're going to do to grow this. Here's our goals. So I think that was some of my confusion coming in, was I didn't entirely know. For composting, for example, hey, we're getting declining participation. Is this still the program that we want to move forward with, or is there something else that supports composting in our community that we would want to evaluate to move forward with? And that's based off of the feedback from the commissioners that evaluated these initiatives. And maybe it's,
Us three.
hey, we want to do something in clean air, but we don't have an expert and we don't know enough. So our work plan for this year is to learn. Like, it might be that simple. Those are just examples.
Or drop
It's not,
it. Like we can just drop
or maybe
things
we don't
too.
want to do something in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or table it. Could always be picked up.
Yeah.
go.
So I don't have any big asks other than maybe everybody review and give edits, or I don't know, Chase, what's the best way to?
I think pollinators, Plan Natural Landscapes, and Clean Energy should have their work plan kind of fleshed out.
Okay, got it. What am I doing?
So I think you are pollinators and Plan
Yeah, I'm
Natural
both,
Landscapes.
and I'm Adopt a Drain. I
And
don't have to do that one.
Adopt-A-Drain.
That one's done, right?
Yeah, that one's review. Everybody can review. We need to build out those three.
Sweet.
So I would say, Rachel, then you'd be Clean Energy.
Yeah. Do we want to be going, like, pick one and go through it right now as an exercise at all?
Do people look through
Not with how
them
much
before
time's
this?
left.
Yeah.
So what level do you want to look through them, I guess? Or how can I help with this?
Yeah, that's I mean, do we just want to look at adopt a drain for an example and see like, hey, are we missing anything big
Sure.
and how we want to
It's
look
the
at
easy
this?
one.
So I'll get to that in the agenda, just so we all
Okay.
can look at the same thing.
The goals, and this was based off of the feedback again, and what I've like gathered from the whole program is we want to increase community participation, improve visibility and public awareness to the message that we're trying to get out and what we're doing, and then have a way to measure the success of the program, which right now I think is tracking participation, but my head was going like, can we track?
Phosphorus coming out of the outlet.
Yep. Thank you.
Can we do that?
Yeah, you get little
Yes.
readers and you just go down and you stick it at the end of the pipe.
We got money. Let's get some of those.
We also have to have the staff.
I can go do it.
Did I get back to you on that?
About what?
The readers.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have a reader ourselves. I don't know what all it tracks, but we go to our ponds and we do the same sort of tracking.
Just like a quick little, and then
Yep.
give you a number.
So in part of like the actions, develop outreach plan, we're already doing this, right? Like we've already talked about some marketing, we've used the farmer's market, granted some of that has fallen through, but like, hey, in
I'm there.
getting visibility to this, like we know we want to work on that. We want to engage the community more in this. Here's a couple ways that I thought we could. Can we have like a campaign or a friendly neighborhood competition or just some ideas? We've already talked about some of like the swag that maybe that can help engage community members. And then some of the metrics and tracking. From what I've gathered, we've talked about, like I said, participation, but I don't think we've defined like this is what we think success in this looks like. So just having some kind of numbers around what do we think we want to achieve with this. And then is there other things we can measure and then use that information to like plan the next going forward.
All right.
Do you have an update on the number? Do you know?
We got 4 after the last farmer's market.
Yeah, I don't have the exact number. We're around a dozen now, I would say, because we did have some people. We had 3 people use the QR code at the farmer's market to sign up for drains. I've had 2 since then. Tony Burns, that was at the last meeting, signed up to adopt a drain, and then I had 1 more after her.
Claudia, maybe.
I love the idea of a competition. I like making it fun. Maybe it's like neighborhood competition. I don't know, certain blocks, whatever. But we have something in place for like a mini pickleball tournament thing or club. Can we like put something out like join our stormwater clean out tournament? I don't know.
Sorry, Betty. Just staring at you, blank face.
I think, so one thing is, I think it'll have to be broader than maybe a neighborhood.
East side, west
It may be smaller than east side versus west side, maybe by ward, by like voting area
Yeah,
or
I
something
love
like that.
that.
So it's
Ooh, my
a
voting
larger area, but not over manageable.
But
I think the problem is still how do we get the word out? How do we promote it? Where do we promote it?
you promote it like I wanted. I'm so sorry. By putting stencils on the ground.
It's an attractive nuisance.
I'm aware, but that is how you do it because people then go, whoa, what is that? What is that?
Can we, I guess, not to like revisit that, but why can't we, instead of putting it on the street side, we could put it above it on the sidewalk side? But then I know
I asked
some
that
have
too.
grass.
No, like on the sidewalk. Literally is something in the middle of the sidewalk that then goes, over there is an adopted storm drain. Big ol' arrow.
Like Ward 2, join the competition.
Yeah.
And maybe this is something we're a little bit too late in the game this year, but we really try to get something going for next year, and the prizes are like they get free beer at the beer gardens or something. Like you present you're from Ward blah blah blah, and you've won. I don't know.
I think you can tie it to the elections then. Be like, oh my gosh, this ward, this, yeah. Because I work all of those, so that's very interesting that that's the thing that you use.
I also feel like though we need to be able to like show people like, hey, here's the benefit of what you're doing.
Yeah,
Because if
those
people aren't
phosphorus
just doing it on their own, yeah, but do we know what that looks like, and like how can we communicate that? And are we communicating in a way that people care and understand? Otherwise, they're not.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just dredged a pond this week. I have photos. I don't think I have good video of it happening, but we have a bulldozer that's about yay deep in all the sediment and garbage and just goop that's on the bottom of a stormwater detention
Yeah, it's gonna
pond
take it out.
that we scooped out and we trucked away. And watching that stuff get dumped, it's not dirt, it's not clay that we're pulling out. It's like Jurassic
Leaves.
Park, one big pile of just garbage that just gets dumped when it gets dumped. So we can show the impact of just how disgusting this stuff is that gets filtered out of our stormwater
Yeah.
before it goes to our
That's what I think. It's like if people aren't just
need
going to do it on
visuals.
their own, like we have to educate while we're
Yeah.
getting people involved.
Does each like ward, do you have different detention ponds that everyone would drain to?
We have detention ponds citywide. I don't know if I can get them open fast enough here while I'm talking, but it impacts everybody. Some areas better than others, like our older parts of town, we're already pretty built out. We don't have the room to fit ponds,
So those go straight to the river.
but those will go straight to the river. And we've created a video showing that impact too that we could present.
Fourth one down on the left is dime.
Fourth one down on the left is dime. I'm looking on that screen.
Okay, or there.
Hit okay. So all these ponds that are shown in blue, those are retention ponds throughout the city. We do have some of our streams also shown. This is Schwabnon Creek, Fox River, of
Yeah,
course,
it
and then
is.
the East River is over here. So the city's broken into 3 basins. We have some part of the city. I'm going to use American Boulevard for an example. This
Goes to
pond
Schwabnon.
system, I think, goes to a Schwabnon for a part, make it
Yep.
to the Fox River. So there's Fox East, Fox West, Schwabnon Creek Basin, and then East River Basin.
Where's that road going?
American Boulevard or the highway?
The south.
South Bridge, the new interchange is being built right here. This is South Bridge Road. It's going to round up here to Red Maple, cross here to Rockland Road, and
poor
then we
river.
enter. Yes, it'll be a bridge. Then it'll connect back up here onto GV on Monroe.
So these ponds can really be a visual representation for people to take ownership, like if they can identify their waste going to one of these places.
Exactly. All the newer parts of town, they should have ponds. As part of new development, we require ponds be built. Here's a new subdivision down here. This pond leg got built as part of that construction. This is Mystic Creek. We just built this in 2021. Not shown here is a pond that we built as part of the construction.
There's we
Right
have
here.
one pond in De Pere, the one that's right by Menards and Walmart. That one has a educational sign on it
Yep.
about the importance of stormwater ponds and things. So I mean, maybe we can highlight that somehow.
one is
Has no good
private.
plants around it, so sorry.
This pond up here off Front Street, this one's a gorgeous pond, especially when we let it grow out. It's brand new. We just built it 3 years ago, and the aerial hasn't updated. This is a great example of a pond that treats our downtown where we're not getting a whole lot of treatment. Just north of this whole area, this all drains directly into the Fox River without any sort of.
You guys seen how green it is? When you drive by the river, do you look at how green it is?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
a good
Yep.
example too, you can see in our American pond system, watch the color change as we go through this system. It gets darker and darker to blue. It goes up to this pond and then it goes into the Schwabnon Creek eventually. So you can actually see the filtration levels as our stormwater is being treated, and it drains slowly through our system.
That's cool.
Right into that little creek
do
that
you
I'm
have-
being
So,
about.
oh no, go ahead.
I was just thinking, is there particular ponds you want to make as like, these are the ones we want to focus on making better? And so, because you were not going to target every one of these ponds.
Adopt to drain, it's baby steps. You're
That's what I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Like, I'm wondering if first, like, we all need to agree that, hey, here's the next baby steps we want to take. Let's outline that for the next year, and like, let's take bite-sized chunks. But everybody needs to be like in on it, right?
Yeah.
Because then we actually have to do it. Because what I would love to do is then at the end of this year, we can say, hey, for every meeting we have, we can check off, okay, we are, yes, partnering with local organizations and we're doing this, and like this is how we're making progress, so that we're not having the same conversation next year
The measurables I think we should track is just participating in general, getting people to do logs. If we can get how many buckets they're pulling out, great. To compare weights of material that are getting pulled out from one side or the other, I don't think is going to be terribly fair.
No.
Or really manageable. So I think the increased community participation is the metric I think we should be aiming for with Adopt a Drain. And that increased education and outreach is going to be the bigger difference than the buckets in my mind.
I agree with that. I literally talk to people when I'm walking my dog. They'll be like, buy a storm drain. I'm like, oh, do you live right here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, do you clean this storm drain? They're like, yeah. I'm like, can you sign up for my program, please? And they're like, no. And I was like, great.
Swag. Hearing that, then swag. So can we do it as a takeaway to everyone review this, give your edits. I'm, again, willing to gather everybody's edits and like come back with another draft that maybe if everybody reviews it, we can approve for the next meeting. But then I almost envisioned it as a working document.
Probably.
That, as we say, hey, this is what our program success looks like, this is what the metric looks like, then we add that in there and we track to it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so before the next meeting, review what's in here, give your feedback. Again, this is just me looking at it. I'm sure I missed some marks, and honestly, it'd be nice if it was a little bit shorter and just like super bite-sized chunks.
Right.
And then for pollinators, plant natural landscape.
I got that. I'll do
Clean
that.
energy is you, and then clean air.
Is going to get dropped.
Tabled.
Sorry. Tabled.
Okay, I'm aligned with that.
Okay, cool.
Anything from your perspective?
Most of these, not all of them, are how are we reaching our community members to act more sustainably? How are we influencing them to do that? And we're trying to learn to do that.
Yep.
When we look at how many drains we're currently doing, it wouldn't be very hard to double and redouble again and have a lot more impact. How
Like the people, like we double, like if we have someone signed up, we ask them to do more drains, or we're trying to just get more new people.
just I think more new people.
Yeah, okay.
There's people that don't understand
Yeah.
why they can have an impact and why it doesn't take any of their time and why it's important for them to do something as opposed to why don't the city workers do that? They should be doing these drains. You can see them doing this. We've got to get across a message that no, this is all of us behaving somewhat differently in order to have a more sustainable community. So how do we get that done?
Yeah, I think this one has a good opportunity because we have a visual. The
Yeah.
ponds are a visual.
No, I think it's an excellent idea.
It's a good layer. I look at that layer sometimes.
Aerial?
And we,
Oh, no, the
we can
structure.
learn to
I'm playing
we
with
can
the
learn to
aerial.
capitalize on that and leverage what we're doing. I'm actually pretty excited about the fact that we put this plan together is pretty substantial.
Good job,
from
Carmen.
My standpoint. Are we going to save the earth?
Yes, we are.
We're gonna
No,
take a
but
baby step.
we're learning to do this as a community, and that's what we're trying to teach the people that live here. And how many of them are we going to reach?
A million.
We're not going to reach 100%. If we reach 30%, that would be great. Eventually, having them all doing something, and learning that they can make impact. So I think this is good.
Can we, ahead of the next meeting on this, maybe get some clarification again if we can put stencils on the sidewalk
Yes.
side?
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else for this for right now? Good job. Thank you for
Also
doing
on
it.
this one, I have one more question that's not related to this. I don't know if
We'll
I'm
talk
allowed to
about
ask
that in
it.
future agenda items.
It's just simply, hey, do we need to recruit other people
We
No.
do.
to join back, or is that something?
The mayor is working on that curriculum.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're low on people.
We'll have a new alderperson set next week, and then maybe another person set at that same time.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So nothing, we don't have to do any possible action. We're good. We're just working by ourselves and coming back to it.
Yes, this was a good discussion.
All right. So next we've got future agenda items.
So I'm bringing back the sidewalk stencils, depending how fast legal gets back to me. And then,
Can I go talk to them?
as far as the agenda goes for next meeting, I'm thinking I just break out and each item has its own item or agenda. And we talk, maybe just go right down the line, one by one, and that'd be how we structure next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just start doing, guys.
I agree. I want to do with the plan.
Okay. Cool. So with that, I guess we can adjourn. So I need a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
I move, we adjourn.
Thank you, Randall. Can we get a second?
I second.
All right. So with that, can I please get all in agreement? My brain went blank. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, can we please say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Any opposed? No. Cool. Thank you, guys.